Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Super English Talks, the place where we help you improve your English while also learning ideas that can make your life better. I'm so happy you decided to spend some time with me today. My name is Jason, and I'll be your host. On this podcast, we talk about many topics that help you practice listening and speaking in English. But we don't stop there. We also talk about real-life lessons, tips, and skills that you can use in your everyday life. This means you are not only learning English, you are also learning how to grow as a person. Today's topic is something many people find challenging: how to set boundaries with people. You may have heard the word boundaries before. Maybe you have a general idea of what it means, or maybe you're not exactly sure. Even if you do know, you might find it hard to set them in your own life. That's completely normal. Many people feel the same way. But don't worry. In today's episode, we will go step by step. We will explain what boundaries are in a very clear and simple way, and we will talk about how you can start setting them in your own life. My goal is to make sure you understand this topic well, and also get good English practice while listening. So, why are boundaries so important? Without clear boundaries, it's easy for other people to take more of your time, energy, or space than you want to give. This can make you feel tired, stressed, or even unhappy. You might find yourself doing things you don't enjoy or saying yes when deep down, you really want to say no. Setting boundaries is a way to protect your personal space, your energy, and your feelings. It's also a way to show others how you want to be treated. And most importantly, it's a way to show yourself that you respect and value your own needs. Here's what we will cover in this episode: what boundaries actually are and why they matter, why it can sometimes be difficult to set them, even when you know you should, how to notice when it's time to set a boundary, simple steps you can take to set boundaries in everyday situations, how people might react when you set a boundary, and how to handle those reactions with confidence. The positive changes that happen in your life when you set healthy boundaries, such as feeling less stressed, having more time for yourself, and building stronger, more respectful relationships. So, make yourself comfortable. Sit back, relax, and get ready to learn something new. You can listen to this episode as many times as you like to practice your English. You can even try speaking along with me or repeating some of the sentences to practice pronunciation. Here at Super English Talks, our goal is simple: to help you learn English in a way that's fun, easy to understand, and useful in real life. All right, let's get started. What are boundaries? Let's begin by understanding this word clearly. The word boundary might sound a little unusual, but the idea is very simple. A boundary is like an invisible line you create to show where something begins and where something ends. Think of it this way. It's your way of saying, "This is okay for me," or "This is not okay for me." Boundaries help other people understand what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. They protect your feelings, your time, and your personal space. They are like small personal rules you create for yourself and for others so that you can feel safe, respected, and happy. There are many kinds of boundaries in life. Let's talk about a few common ones. The first type is emotional boundaries. These have to do with your feelings and emotions. For example, you might not want to share very personal or private stories with someone you don't trust yet. You might not feel okay when someone speaks to you in a rude or hurtful way. When you set an emotional boundary, you are telling others how you want to be treated emotionally. You are letting them know, "This is how I expect you to talk to me," or "I am not comfortable when you speak to me like that." Let's look at some examples of different types of boundaries and how you can set them. 1. Emotional boundaries. Earlier, we talked about emotional boundaries. These are about protecting your feelings and emotions. Sometimes, people might say something to you that feels hurtful or disrespectful. Or they might ask you to share something very personal that you're not ready to talk about. In those moments, it's okay to speak up. You can say things like, "Please don't speak to me like that. I'm not ready to talk about this right now." When you do this, you're showing others how you want to be treated, and you're taking care of your emotional well-being. 2. Physical boundaries. These are about your body and your personal space. Imagine you're sitting on a bus and someone sits extremely close to you, even though there are many empty seats around. That might feel uncomfortable, right? Or maybe you don't like it when someone touches you without asking, even if they mean it in a friendly way. Physical boundaries help people know how close they can get to you and what kind of touch is okay. You can say, "Please give me some space. I don't like hugs, thank you." 3. Time boundaries. Time is precious. Time boundaries are about how you choose to use your time and how you allow others to use it. For example, if a friend calls you late at night while you're trying to sleep, that can disturb your rest. If a coworker keeps asking for your help while you're already busy with your own work, that can make you feel stressed and overwhelmed. Setting time boundaries means you decide how much time you can give to others and how much time you want for yourself. You might say, "I can help you, but only for 10 minutes. I need to leave at 5 p.m. today." 4. Personal space boundaries. These are connected to physical boundaries, but they also include your belongings and your surroundings. Maybe you don't like it when someone goes through your bag without asking. Or perhaps you need quiet time in your room to relax and recharge after a busy day. Setting personal space boundaries means you let people know what is private for you and what you need to feel comfortable. You can say, "Please don't go through my things. I need some quiet time alone." Why does everyone need boundaries? The answer is simple. Boundaries help us take care of ourselves. Without them, people might take too much from us, too much time, too much energy, or too much space. When that happens, we can start to feel tired, upset, or even angry because we are doing things we don't actually want to do. Sometimes we say yes when we really want to say no because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But here's the truth. When we don't set boundaries, we end up hurting ourselves instead. Boundaries also help other people understand us better. When we are clear about our needs and limits, it's easier for others to treat us with kindness and respect. It's important to remember, boundaries are not about being rude or pushing people away. They're about creating healthy, positive relationships where both people feel respected and valued. When you set good boundaries, you show the world that you respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, others are more likely to respect you too. Everyone has the right to set boundaries, no matter your age, where you come from, or who you are. Boundaries are helpful in all relationships, with family, friends, coworkers, and even strangers. They help you stay true to yourself and build a life that feels safe, balanced, and good for you. The best part? You can start today. You don't need to make huge changes all at once. Begin with small, simple steps. Over time, these small actions can create big, positive changes in your life. The importance of setting boundaries. Now, let's take a moment to really think about why setting boundaries is so important. A lot of people don't realize just how much boundaries can improve their lives. Some people believe boundaries are only about saying no or keeping people away from you. But that's not true at all. Boundaries are not about building walls. They are about creating healthy and respectful relationships, both with other people and with yourself. Let's look at a few reasons why boundaries matter so much. 1. Boundaries protect your time and energy. Every person has a limited amount of energy each day. If you keep saying yes to everything, sooner or later, you'll feel tired and overwhelmed. Imagine this. All day long, you're helping friends, coworkers, or family members. You say yes to every request. You answer every phone call, reply to every message, and agree to every favor. But you never stop to rest, and you never make time for your own needs. What happens? By the end of the day, you feel exhausted. You might even start to lose energy for the things that really matter to you. By setting clear boundaries, you protect your time. You make space to rest, relax, and focus on what you truly need. This is not being selfish. It's being smart and caring toward yourself. 2. Boundaries help you feel respected. When you clearly tell people what you can do and what you cannot do, you teach them how to treat you. For example, if you tell a friend, "I need some quiet time in the evening," and they respect that, you will feel valued. But if you never say anything, people might keep crossing your limits without even knowing they're doing it. This can lead to frustration, hurt feelings, or misunderstandings. Setting boundaries gives others a clear guide for how to treat you with care and respect. 3. Boundaries make relationships healthier. Some people think that saying yes to everything will make others like them more. But that's not true. In fact, when you say yes all the time, you might start to feel unhappy inside. You might even start to feel resentment, that quiet frustration that builds up when you do too much for others and too little for yourself. Healthy relationships are built on honesty and fairness. When you set boundaries, you show people your real needs and feelings. That honesty makes the relationship stronger and more balanced. Both you and the other person feel good about the connection. 4. Boundaries reduce stress and improve mental health. When you have clear boundaries, you create a sense of order and safety in your life. You know what to expect, you know what is okay and what is not okay, and you know you have time for rest and self-care. This helps lower anxiety, pressure, and frustration. You stop feeling pulled in too many directions, and you start feeling more peaceful and in control. 5. Boundaries build your confidence and self-respect. Every time you stand up for yourself and say what you need, you remind yourself that your needs matter. You show yourself that your feelings and your time are important. Over time, this makes you stronger, more confident, and more sure of yourself. So remember, setting boundaries is not selfish. It's a healthy, important part of life. Boundaries help you protect your time and energy, feel more respected, build stronger relationships, reduce stress, grow in confidence. In the next part of the episode, we'll talk about why it can be so hard to set boundaries and why so many people struggle with it, even when they know they need to do it. Why is it so hard to set boundaries? Now that we understand what boundaries are and why they matter, let's talk about something that almost everyone experiences. Why is it so hard to set them? On the surface, it might seem simple. You just tell someone what you need or what you don't want. But in real life, it can feel much more complicated. Many people struggle with setting boundaries even when they know it would make their life better. Let's explore why. 1. Fear. One of the biggest reasons is fear. You might be afraid that if you say no, someone will get upset. Maybe you think they'll stop liking you, or they might even leave you. This fear can be especially strong when it comes to people you're close to, like friends, partners, or family members. For example, imagine your friend often asks you for help with their schoolwork or projects. You're busy or tired, and deep down you want to say no, but you're worried they'll be angry or stop being your friend. So you say yes anyway, even though it drains your energy. When fear takes over, we often put other people's needs before our own, even when it hurts us. 2. Guilt. Another common reason is guilt. Some people feel guilty the moment they try to set a boundary. They might think, I should help because I'm a good person, or if I say no, I'm being selfish. But the truth is, setting boundaries is not selfish. It's healthy. Here's an example. Your coworker asks you to stay late to help with a project, but you've already planned to go home and rest because you've had a long day. You want to say no, but guilt creeps in. You don't want to let them down. So you stay late and help, even though you're exhausted. This guilt makes it harder to protect your time, your health, and your energy. 3. The desire to please others. Many of us like to make people happy. It feels good to hear things like, "Thank you, you're the best," or "I'm so glad you helped me." We don't want to disappoint anyone. But when we try too hard to please everyone, we can forget about our own needs. For example, maybe you're always the one who organizes plans for your group of friends. You make the calls, book the place, check on everyone. At first, it feels nice to be the one holding things together, but after a while, you feel tired and wish someone else would do it. Still, you keep going because you don't want to let people down. This constant desire to please can stop you from saying, "I need a break." 4. Not knowing how to say no. Sometimes it's not fear or guilt. It's simply not knowing how to say no in a clear but kind way. Many people never learned how to express limits politely. Maybe they were taught as children that saying no is rude, or that they should always be helpful no matter what. Now, as adults, they feel uncomfortable when they try to set a boundary. For example, if your neighbor keeps asking you to water their plants or pick up their mail, you might be busy, but you don't know how to politely say no without feeling rude. 5. Cultural or family expectations. Sometimes cultural or family traditions make boundaries more difficult. In some cultures or families, people believe you should always help relatives, no matter how tired or busy you are. Saying no to a parent, elder, or sibling might feel disrespectful, even if you're overwhelmed. For example, maybe your parents expect you to help with everything at home, even when you have schoolwork or a job to do. You want to set a boundary, but you're worried it will cause conflict in the family. So as you can see, setting boundaries is not always easy. Fear, guilt, the need to please, not knowing how to say no, and cultural expectations. These can all make it harder. But here's the good news. Just like any skill, setting boundaries can be learned. With practice, you can start small and build your confidence. Now we'll discuss how to recognize when it's time to set boundaries and how to start doing it with simple, practical steps. You are not alone. All of these examples show us something important. Yes, setting boundaries is healthy and necessary, but it can also bring up strong emotions like fear, guilt, or discomfort. Here's the good news. You are not alone in feeling this way. Many people all over the world struggle with the same challenges. Learning to set boundaries is just like learning any new skill. It takes time, practice, and patience. You don't have to get it perfect right away. You can start small, with simple boundaries, and slowly build your confidence. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Take it step by step. How to know when you need boundaries. Now, let's talk about something very important. How do you know when it's time to set a boundary? Sometimes, people don't even realize they need boundaries until they feel completely overwhelmed or unhappy. They might feel tired, stressed, or frustrated, but they don't connect those feelings to the fact that they're giving too much of themselves to others. That's why it's important to notice the signs your body and mind are giving you. These signs are like little alarms telling you it's time to stop, think, and set some limits. 1. You feel tired all the time. Of course, we all feel tired sometimes. That's normal. But if you feel exhausted almost every day, even after sleeping or resting, it could be a sign that you're giving too much of your energy to other people. For example, maybe you have a friend who calls you late at night and keeps you talking for hours. Or maybe your boss keeps giving you extra tasks and you stay late at work almost every day. When you give too much without recharging, your body feels it. Feeling constantly drained is your body's way of saying, you need to protect your time and energy. 2. You feel stressed or anxious. If you often feel worried, nervous, or like you can't relax, it might be because people are crossing your boundaries. For example, a coworker keeps asking for help when you're already busy with your own work. A family member keeps demanding your time when you really need space to rest. These situations can make you feel like you've lost control of your time and energy. Setting boundaries is how you take that control back, and when you do, your stress levels usually go down. 3. You feel annoyed, frustrated, or angry. Sometimes you might be upset with someone but not understand why. Maybe a friend keeps canceling plans at the last minute. Or maybe a neighbor borrows your things without asking. You might tell yourself, it's okay, it's no big deal. But deep down you feel annoyed or even angry. That's a big clue. Those feelings are your mind's way of saying, something isn't right here. Your boundaries are being crossed. You're doing great. Every moment you spend here is not just helping you learn English, it's helping you learn how to take care of yourself. Paying attention to your feelings. Paying attention to your feelings is one of the best ways to know where you need to set limits. Another common feeling is feeling used or taken advantage of. This happens when people expect you to always be available, to always say yes, and to always help, even when it's too much for you. For example, a friend always asks for favors but never offers to help you in return. Your boss keeps piling extra tasks on you because they know you won't complain. When you feel like people only come to you when they want something, that's a strong signal that you need to set boundaries to protect your time and energy. Real-life examples. Let's look at a few situations where boundaries are clearly needed. Example 1. The late-night calls. Imagine you have a friend who calls you every night to talk about their problems. You care about them, but after a while you start to feel drained because you never have time for yourself. This is a sign you need a boundary, maybe telling them you can only talk a few times a week or for a shorter time in the evenings. Example 2. The coworker's extra work. At work, a coworker keeps asking you to finish their part of a group project. You're already overloaded, and it's making you stressed. This is a time to politely but firmly say, I can't take on more right now. Example 3. No personal space at home. Maybe a family member keeps walking into your room without knocking. You start to feel like you have no personal space. That's another clear place for a boundary. You can kindly explain, I need you to knock before coming in. Why this matters. Noticing these feelings doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you selfish or mean. Everyone has limits. It's healthy to recognize when yours are being pushed too far. By paying attention to the signs, tiredness, stress, annoyance, feeling used, you can take action before you reach burnout. Next, steps to set boundaries. Now that we've talked about why boundaries are important, why they can be difficult to set, and how to recognize when you need them, let's get practical. It's time to learn how to set boundaries, step by step. Many people feel nervous or unsure the first time they try, but here's the truth. Anyone can learn this with a little practice. I'm going to walk you through 5 simple steps to set healthy, respectful boundaries in your life. Remember, you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to start. Step 1. Know your limits. Before you can tell someone else what you need, you have to understand it yourself. Ask yourself, what makes me feel uncomfortable? What situations leave me tired, upset, or stressed? When do I feel like someone is crossing a line? For example, you feel annoyed when a friend texts you all day while you're working. You feel exhausted when you say yes to too many invitations in one week. Pay attention to your body's signals, like tension in your shoulders, frustration, or that overwhelmed feeling. These emotions are clues that a boundary might be needed. Knowing your limits is all about understanding your own needs and paying attention to what feels right for you. Step 2. Be clear and simple. When you communicate a boundary, keep it short and clear. You don't need to give long explanations or a long list of reasons. Just state what you need or what you can't do in a straightforward way. For example, if a coworker keeps asking for help when you're busy, you can simply say, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that right now." If a friend is always late and it's starting to bother you, you can say, "I'd like us to meet on time, please." Simple, clear language leaves no room for confusion. If you talk too much or over-explain, the other person might not know what you actually want. Step 3. Use I statements. I statements focus on your feelings and needs instead of blaming or attacking the other person. For example, instead of, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel hurt when I'm not listened to." Instead of, "You're always asking too much from me," try, "I need some time for myself." When you speak from your own experience, people are more likely to listen and less likely to get defensive. Step 4. Stay calm and kind. It's totally normal to feel nervous when setting a boundary, especially if it's new for you. But you don't need to get angry or raise your voice for your message to be powerful. In fact, the calmer you are, the stronger your message becomes. For example, if someone raises their voice at you, you can calmly say, "I'd like to continue this conversation when we're both calm." If a family member interrupts your quiet time, you might say, "I need a little time alone right now, but we can talk later." Kindness doesn't make you weak. It means you respect yourself and the other person at the same time. Step 5. Practice and be patient. Setting boundaries is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. People might not always respect your boundaries right away, and that's okay. You may need to repeat your message a few times before it sticks. For example, if your friend keeps texting you late at night, even after you've asked them not to, you might gently remind them, "Remember, I go to bed early, so I can't reply late at night." Over time, as you practice, you'll feel more confident and more comfortable speaking up for yourself. Think of it like learning English or playing an instrument. The more you do it, the better you get. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep going and stay true to yourself. You deserve to have your needs respected. You have the right to protect your time, your space, and your energy. In the next part of this episode, let's talk about something important: what to do when people don't respect your boundaries. Because, unfortunately, not everyone will listen the first time. But don't worry, I'll share tips and strategies to help you handle those situations with confidence and care. How to handle reactions from others. Now that you know how to set boundaries, let's talk about what happens after you set them, how other people might react. The truth is, even if you're kind and clear, not everyone will react positively. Some might feel surprised. Some might feel confused. And yes, some might even feel upset, especially if they're used to you always saying yes or always helping them. But here's something important. Their reaction does not mean you're doing something wrong. Why people might react negatively. Sometimes, people simply aren't used to the new you. Maybe they were used to having a lot of your time and attention, and now you're saying no more often. Maybe they expected you to always be available, and now you're protecting your own needs. This change can feel uncomfortable, both for you and for them. For example, if you usually help a coworker with their tasks, but now you say you're too busy, they might act disappointed. If you tell a friend you can't go out because you need time for yourself, they might feel hurt or confused. These reactions are normal. But remember, just because someone is unhappy doesn't mean you're wrong. Don't give up on your boundary. When people react negatively, it's easy to feel guilty and think, maybe I should just say yes. Or, it's easier if I just do what they want. But think about why you set the boundary in the first place. To take care of your needs, protect your energy, and build healthy relationships. Giving in might bring short-term peace, but in the long run, it can leave you feeling tired, frustrated, or resentful. So stay calm and firm. You can say things like, I understand you're upset, but I need to stick to this boundary. I know this is new, but it's important for me. You don't have to over-explain. Just repeat your boundary, kindly and clearly. Prepare yourself emotionally. It can help to prepare before setting a boundary. Remind yourself, this is good for my health and my well-being. If someone reacts with anger, guilt, or sadness, that's their emotion to manage, not yours. You are not responsible for making everyone happy all the time. For example, if your sibling complains that you don't help them as much as before, remind yourself, I'm allowed to take care of myself too. It's okay to care about other people's feelings, but you shouldn't sacrifice your own happiness just to avoid conflict. Encourage yourself. After you set a boundary, give yourself credit. Say, I did something strong today. Or, I'm learning to protect my time and energy. You can even write it in a journal or say it out loud. Encouraging yourself builds confidence, and confidence makes setting boundaries easier over time. Remember, setting boundaries is a skill. Like all skills, it gets easier with practice. You might not feel strong every time, but with each small success, you'll become more comfortable and more sure of yourself. If someone keeps pushing against your boundary or ignoring it, stay calm and repeat your message. Sometimes, you'll need to say it more than once before they understand you mean it. For example, if a coworker keeps asking for help even after you've said no, you can calmly respond, I've already explained that I can't help with that. If a friend keeps inviting you out when you need rest, you can say, thanks for the invite, but I need quiet time today. Over time, most people will begin to respect your limits when they see that you are consistent and clear. And I want to remind you, you are not alone on this journey. All over the world, people are learning to set and protect their boundaries. It's okay if you feel nervous or unsure sometimes. It's okay if you make mistakes or if things don't go perfectly. What matters most is that you keep practicing, keep learning, and keep respecting yourself. You deserve relationships that are healthy, balanced, and respectful. Now, in the next part of this episode, let's look at something exciting, the benefits of setting boundaries. You might be wondering, why do all this hard work? What will I actually gain? Well, there are many wonderful things that happen when you learn this skill. Yes, it may feel challenging at first, but the positive results are absolutely worth it. 1. More respect from others. When you set clear boundaries, people begin to see you as someone who knows their worth, someone who values their time, energy, and feelings. You're showing the world that you take yourself seriously. And when you do that, others take you seriously too. For example, if you tell a friend you can't answer late-night texts because you need sleep, and you stick to that rule, over time they will respect your quiet hours. They might even admire you for knowing how to take care of yourself. Respect grows when people see that you're confident and clear about what you need. 2. Less stress. When you have no boundaries, life can feel overwhelming. You might say yes to everything, help everyone, and end up with no time left for yourself. This kind of overload leads to burnout, frustration, and even resentment. But when you start setting limits, you take back control of your time and energy. You create space for rest, hobbies, self-care, and the things that truly matter to you. For example, if you set a boundary at work that you won't answer emails after 6 p.m., you give yourself permission to relax and enjoy your evenings. You stop carrying the weight of everything on your shoulders, and your mind and body feel calmer. One of the most beautiful benefits is that you'll enjoy better relationships. Many people think saying yes to everything and always being available will make people like them more. But often the opposite happens. Without boundaries, relationships can become unbalanced. You may feel taken advantage of or quietly resentful toward the people you care about. When you set clear, respectful boundaries, your relationships become healthier and more balanced. You can enjoy time with others without feeling exhausted or used. And your friends, family, and coworkers will understand you better because you're being honest and clear about your needs. Let me share a quick success story. Anna was kind and generous, always helping at work, taking care of family needs, and being there for friends at all hours. But she was also tired, stressed, and secretly unhappy. One day, she decided to start small. She told her coworkers she could only help during work hours, not weekends. She told her family she needed 1 hour a day just for herself. She told her friends she couldn't always answer calls right away. At first, some people were surprised, but over time, they began to respect Anna's limits. She started to feel peaceful, in control, and even joyful. Her relationships improved, and she had more energy to give when she chose to help. Anna's life became healthier and happier, all because she learned to set boundaries. So, as you can see, setting boundaries is not about pushing people away or being selfish. It's about creating a life where you care for yourself and enjoy balanced, respectful relationships. It's about reducing stress and making room for what matters most. And it's about showing the world that you respect yourself, which invites others to respect you as well. Recap and final thoughts. We've reached the end of today's episode, so let's quickly review. Setting boundaries helps you protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. It builds respect, reduces stress, and improves relationships. It's a skill you get better with practice. And most importantly, it shows that you value yourself. You've done an amazing job just by listening, learning, and thinking about how to apply these ideas in your own life. Remember, every time you practice, you're building confidence, strength, and self-respect. You've come so far already. Keep going, you're doing great. Let's take a moment to review everything we've talked about today so you can remember the most important ideas from this episode. We started by talking about what boundaries are. Boundaries are like invisible lines that protect your time, energy, emotions, and personal space. They are rules you set for yourself and others so you can live in a healthy, balanced way. We gave simple examples like saying no to extra work when you're too tired or telling someone you need quiet time to rest. These examples show that boundaries are not about being mean. They are about taking care of yourself. We also learned that everyone needs boundaries, no matter who they are. Boundaries help you protect your well-being so you can live a calmer and happier life. Next, we talked about why it can be hard to set boundaries. Sometimes we feel afraid, guilty, or worried about disappointing others. We may want to please everyone and keep everyone happy. We gave examples like feeling nervous when you tell a friend you can't help them, or feeling guilty when you say no to a family member. These feelings are normal, but they shouldn't stop you from protecting yourself. With practice, you can set healthy limits and still be kind and caring. Then, we moved on to 5 simple steps for setting boundaries. 1. Know your limits. Understand what you can and cannot handle. 2. Be clear and simple. Say what you mean in a short, direct way. 3. Use I statements. Speak from your own feelings and needs. 4. Stay calm and kind. Be respectful, even when saying no. 5. Practice with patience. Setting boundaries is a skill that improves over time. We talked about taking small steps every day to strengthen this skill and how these steps will make you feel more confident. After that, we discussed how to handle people's reactions to your boundaries. Some people might not like them at first, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. Remember why you set the boundary in the first place and stay firm even if it feels uncomfortable. You learned that you are not responsible for making everyone happy, and it's okay to protect your own well-being. We also talked about the benefits of setting boundaries. You can gain more respect, reduce stress, and enjoy healthier relationships. We shared the success story of Anna, who went from feeling exhausted and overwhelmed to feeling peaceful and happy, all because she started setting small, clear limits. Now, as we finish, I want to encourage you. You don't have to be perfect at this right away. Setting boundaries is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time, practice, and patience. At first, you might feel nervous or make mistakes. That's okay. Every small step you take is a success. Every time you say no when you need to or protect your personal space, you are building a stronger and healthier version of yourself. Be proud of yourself for learning and growing. Remember, you are not alone. People all over the world are learning how to set better boundaries and live more balanced lives, just like you. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Super English Talks. I'm really happy you chose to spend this time with me. I hope you found this episode helpful, not only for improving your English listening skills, but also for your personal growth. If you enjoyed this episode, try listening to it again. Repetition helps you remember new words and ideas. You can also share it with a friend or family member who might need these lessons too. Sometimes learning together makes the journey easier and more fun. Before we say goodbye, I want to remind you, you're doing great. Keep practicing your English, keep learning new life skills, and keep believing in yourself. You have the strength and ability to set healthy boundaries and create the life you want. Thank you again for being here with me today. I can't wait to talk with you in the next episode of Super English Talks. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself, and remember, you are worth it.